Hello everyone, it's Bavar from PTC or Port Terra Conglomerate here. We're here with another one of our overview videos to give you a bit of a butcher's at one of the most well-known fighters in the game that perennially dukes it out against the Gladius for the best fighter at the moment. The aggressively to the point Anvil Arrow. Throughout the video, as per usual, we'll be covering the lore, overall features and specifications, flight profile, and how we like to use the ship. In addition to this, at the end, we will also try and draw some links to real-world vehicles that we feel fulfill a similar role to how we like to use the arrow, or that we feel are equivalents to her. As was mentioned in our last video, the Gladius, as venerable as she is being phased out. Time, sadly, comes for us all, and she is no exception, with her increasingly beginning to struggle more and more against newer iterations of Vandal fighter craft. In 2948, Anvil unveiled the Arrow, which was designed to counter the newest iterations of the Blade Light fighter. And to paraphrase Anvil themselves, the Arrow is an ultra-aerodynamic frame with a slim yet sexy profile and the best maneuvering thrusters on the market. In terms of fighters available to civilians, she dukes it out with the best of the best in terms of her agility and speed. All this being said, she is still able to hold her own in a slap fight thanks to her ample weapons package for a light fighter. After all, why wouldn't Anvil give you the best it has to offer in every regard possible? When it comes to the Anvil Arrow's overall size and features, she's about 16 meters long, 12 meters wide, with a height of only 4 meters. You can buy her in-game for 972,300 AUEC, and that leaves us with the components, which, when all things said and done, is a fairly standard affair when it comes to a light fighter, with all her gear being size 1 in nature. While she is a very light fighter, you do have some redundancy, in your coolers at least, but you only have one of all your other components. I will specifically point out she only has one shield generator compared to the Gladius's two, in effect making the Arrow the agile yin to the Gladius's tankier yang. When it comes to her weapons, as a default, the Arrow does come with a respectable dual size 1 gun mount up top on the turret and a dual size 2 gimbal gun setup on the wings, which can naturally, if you're so inclined, be set as size 3s if you choose to fix them. When compared to the Gladius, you do see another consequence of this premium that has been placed on speed and agility, aside from her shield and her guns. Compared to the Gladius, while she does have the same number of missile racks, they are unable to carry the same total amount of missiles or in the same sizes. An effective illustration of this is when running size 1s across the board, her two outer racks are limited to dual size 1 missiles, with her inner racks being the quad size ones, whereas the Gladius has quad size 1 racks across the board. She does have a few special features up her sleeve, being a injection seat, which will always come in handy, and folding wings, which will allow you to squeeze every ounce of space out of whatever hangar you decide to park her in. Not surprisingly, the Arrow makes a fantastic dogfighter, like the Gladius, and does well especially in short-ranged, rapid response interception duties as well as skirmish warfare. She's got an SEM speed of about 270 meters a second and an afterburner speed of 1235, thereby allowing her to engage or disengage most targets at will, especially when you're looking at the non-light fighters. Compared to the Gladius, she is a little bit faster and more agile, though this is at a cost to your durability and a little bit more limited missile loadout. As with all light fighters, key to her survival is picking targets very carefully and a very keen sense of situational awareness. Working as part of a squadron or with a wingman is also highly recommended and will allow you to be an absolute menace to other fighters out there, as well as larger ships that have neglected to man their turrets. When it comes to the Anvil Arrow's claim times, you'll find she has a standard claim time of 6:45, expedited time of about 2:15, and her cost for that expediting being 3,373 UEC, at least at the moment. PTC likes to use the Anvil Arrow, like the Gladius, as a short-ranged skirmishing light fighter, which also doubles as a scout due to her speed. As for her real-world equivalent, we decided to go with the F-16, which was developed to meet an American requirement for a lightweight, cheap to build, and cheap to maintain daytime dogfighter. This, however, didn't stop her from becoming a multi-role fighter over time. This drift into multi-role capability eventually led to her becoming the multi-role partner to more expensive to purchase, build, and maintain aircraft such as the air superiority-focused F-22. Similar to how the UEE fields Arrows, Sabres, and Hornets as the bulk of its fighter craft, with the F-8 Lightnings being reserved for key units, much like the F-22. Interestingly enough, the F-16 was the first fighter intentionally built to pull 9G maneuvers apparently, and when pushed, can reach a max speed in excess of Mach 2. I hope you enjoyed this overview of one of my favourite fighters in the game, as well as what turned out to be an interesting tidbit or two in terms of the lore. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to leave a thumbs up or comment if you've got something you want to say, or if you're feeling extra saucy, subscribe to see more. This is Bivar from PTC, signing off.